With the catwalk, we want to make sure that we are reciprocating. Just like when we walk, we move opposite hand, opposite foot. With that catwalk, we also want to move opposite hand, opposite foot. And that's going to come into play of more importance when we're doing the actual cat balance, because that reciprocation helps to counterbalance when we're trying to be more stable or more balanced on a thinner obstacle like a rail. With the catwalk, doing that reciprocation, I move one hand opposite foot. If I think about it too much, it can become harder. One of the things I like to say is that if you just focus on moving your hands, running on your hands at a medium pace, so not too fast, not too slow, your body will kind of automatically go into that reciprocation, because you cannot move fast moving the same side. If I just let my legs kind of do whatever they want, they're used to moving and walking on a daily basis, and I focus more on just running on my hands, my body will kind of automatically do that reciprocation, that correct technique. When I do that catwalk, I want to make sure that I am putting actual weight into my hands. The correct position for this is going to be this table position. My butt's not too high. I'm not trying to kind of walk like a bear. The catwalk, I'm going to be more in that table position, knees bent, back flat, butt nice and low, reciprocating, weight in my hands. If I were to remove my hands, I would fall on my face. I don't want to just kind of touch the ground as I'm walking. So really making sure to start to put weight in those hands. One of the main concepts within parkour is maintaining your momentum. My chest is constantly moving forward, constantly falling, and I'm either replacing that with a foot, replacing that with hands, but I'm maintaining that forward momentum. The catwalk is a good initial movement, initial skill to start to build that understanding, that sensation within the body of continuing to move with my chest forward, maintaining that momentum. Even though it's done for a short amount of time, because you're in that constant engagement of the muscles, it's a great challenge. Another nice thing about catwalk, it's basically crawling. So it's pretty low impact, even though it doesn't seem like much, like it's just crawling. You don't want to overdo it because your body is in that constant contraction. Plus your wrists are in a position that you may not have the appropriate range of motion for, so it can put some stress on the wrist, the elbow, and the shoulder. A progression to use if you can't quite do the hands and feet is to just go into an actual crawl where you're on your hands and knees. And then you can start to move to putting a little bit more weight. So even just doing it on your knees can start to build and start to take some of the pressure off of your wrists, but you can start to practice that movement. Being on your knees in that actual crawl is going to take away some of that core engagement, some of the pressure on the wrist. It's a great progression to start to get to being able to be on your feet. The catwalk is a great way to start to build that comfortability of being on your hands, building the strength to have weight in your hands, to start to build into the more functional, dynamic QMs, like the ground Kong, which the ground Kong feeds into so many other movements. Being able to be comfortable putting weight in my hands allows me to take that basic ground skill and move to something higher. The part of parkour that is more interesting, but also more skillful and more intimidating. So building that foundational piece all the way back to just starting with that crawling is going to set you up to be able to do some of those things that you didn't necessarily think you would be able to do. A nice thing about the catwalk is you do not need anything that isn't always there, which is yourself and the ground.